Hello everyone, welcome to our new video in the series on mastering data structures and algorithms. In our previous video, we talked about an introduction to data structures, basic operations, types of data structures, and asymptotic notations. If you haven't watched that video, I strongly recommend you to do that. Now the topic of today's presentation is arrays. There are a number of things to discuss about these arrays. They are very important data structures, and therefore I have divided this topic of arrays into different parts. This is the first part, so let's begin. This is my website. You can go on to this link and have a look at my current role, different international business that have gone on to, my research record, what subjects I have taught so far, and so on. First of all, time for some terminology. Linear versus non-linear data structure. Data structure, as we discussed in the last video, are a mathematical or logical model for organizing data into the computer memory. By linear data structure, we mean that some kind of sequential way exists of navigating from one element to the other. However, in non-linear data structures, no such way exists. Now, linearity can be either imposed in terms of sequential memory allocations or by using pointers or links. So by sequential memory, we mean the concept of arrays. And the next topic, that is by use of pointers and links, that is through the linked list, that is another topic after arrays. So here we study the arrays. Now basically what is an array? Array is a linear data structure of homogeneous elements. By homogeneous we mean the elements are of same type, either all numbers. Numbers can also be either integers, characters, floats, and so on. Most important aspect of array is that elements are stored in contiguous or sequential memory allocations. And arrays, since being fixed size and stored in contiguous memory allocations, they are generally used to store permanent collections of data. Array size can be varied, but not to a very large extent as compared to linked lists that we'll see later on. The advantages of arrays are they are easy to traverse, they are easy to search, and easy to sort. Now, the first operation on the arrays, that is how do we create an array? Creation involves a number of things. First of all, it involves declaring the type of the values an array is going to hold, its array name, and it also holds the size of the array. Now, about the size of the array and other things, a lot depends on the language that we are using. However, in this video, since we are focusing more and more on the C programming, therefore, this type of declaration will declare all these type of things. However, in programming languages or environments like MATLABs, these things generally are not required. We do not require to declare the array size a priori. However, this is not going to be the case over here. Now, size also depends to a large extent on the type of values that are stored. Say, for example, over here in C programming, if we are writing a statement like int a, inside the brackets we write n. Now, over here, int a means the type of values that the array is going to hold. By int, we mean integer type of values. These values, as you know from the C programming, have some precision. And if you are not aware of the basics of the C programming, we have another playlist, so you can consult and refer that. Over here, a is the name of the array and n is declared as the size. Now we'll see later on, size can be given either in terms of a number or in terms of macros. Now, a very important point returning over here is size depends on the type of value stored. Over here, since we're declaring an integer type of array, or another way of saying is that an array can hold integer type of values, we know that integers in a memory occupy certain bytes of memory. Floating points require even greater byte of memory. So by these aspects, we mean that whatever the type of value or the size that the array is going to hold is synchronous with each other. Now, an important aspect comes, how do we access the elements of an array? A very important term over here is the index. Since arrays are stored in contiguous memory, therefore, once we get the location of the first element, after that, every index can be given in increasing order. So every value in the array is indexed. Like over here, In the C programming, we use the index values from 0 to n minus 1. If n has, say, suppose value 10, so it can hold maximum of 10 elements, and the size is going to be from 0 to 9, that is the index. How do we write the index? It is written like a in and within the brackets I following the array name. Now, very important aspect, again, it is stored in the contiguous memory. As you can see from the diagram below, it is from 0 to n minus 1 it is shown. Therefore, what is the length of the array? It is given ub minus lb plus 1. What is ub? Ub stands for upper bound, lb stands for lower bound, and plus 1. So over here, n minus 1 minus 0 plus 1, that makes it. Now, as seen earlier, an array is organized in the form of contiguous memory allocations. So say suppose if the first index is L0, so on up till we go on to L minus 1. Now, how do we locate the address of kth element in the array? Now, location of the kth element of the array is given as base of LA, that is linear array, plus W into K minus LB. Now, what is the terms that are used in this equation? Base means location of the first element or the base address, which over here in the diagram shown above, that will be L0, and in the previous diagram that we saw, it was 0. W is the number of words stored per memory cell. In general, we will assume that complete number or complete word or character will be stored at one location into the memory. LB stands for the lower bound. For example, if we have base of linear array as 0 and the elements are 44, 3, 55, 6 and 7. Now, what is the location of the element 6? It can be calculated as location of LA of 3 equals to 0 plus 1 into 3 minus 1, that is equal to 6. Now, there are very important points that are to note over here. For example, the element 44 and 55, even though both of them are made up of two numeric figures, 2 4s and 2 5s respectively. However, we have assumed over here that 44 as well as 55 both are stored into the same memory location, that is 1. So therefore, the number of words required per memory cell is 1. Second thing, you will see into the elements. Now the question comes in that the location of element 6 is ideally 4 in this array of elements. Say first element is 44, second is 3, third is 55 and fourth is 6. So now an important question comes to the mind, like why it has been the location of 3. So the answer to that is the indexes in C programming language are indexed from 0 to n minus 1. If in some other programming language or environment, index varies from some other lower bound value to some higher bound value, so then the values inside this base and everything are going to change. Now, a very important or useful property of an array is that time to calculate the location of some kth element is same for any k value, and it is independent of the contents of other locations. This is very important because we can access this element directly without going through the previous element. Why? Because again, the property of array, that arrays are stored in contiguous memory locations. Now let us talk about the second operation, that is insertion into an array. Now what does insertion mean? Insertion means adding one or more new elements. Now mind you, this is adding one or more new elements. This is different from the creation. Creation only involved declaring the array name, size and so on. Now how can we insert? Now insertion can be done either at the end of the array or at a specific location. Now if we have a specific location, now there are two cases that are possible. Either array can be sorted. So in such a scenario, we will be interested in maintaining the sorted order of the array. In case arrays are unsorted, then we need to specify the position at which insertion has to take place. A very important point to note over here is that size of the array must not be exceeded. Why? Because there are no bound checking in C. What do you mean by bound checking? By bound checking mean that if we declare a maximum size of array, say 10, 11 or whatever the number, so even if accidentally we exceed that size, C doesn't impose any restrictions. So those restrictions on the size of the array have to be imposed by the programmer itself. So let's say, so Coming to the case one, that is we'll be creating and inserting values. So time for some programming. So in this figure, onto the left hand side, you can see we have written a program, and onto the right hand side, there are some indications about the program, some explanation. So I'm going to go through each and every step. So first line is hash include stdio.h and hash define max. So the first line, hash include stdio.h, that we all know, that is declaration of the header files. Please have a look at our playlist on the C programs also for more details. Now we have hash define max 10. Now what is hash define max 10? This is a defining of the macros. And using this macro, we will be taking into account the maximum allowed size of an array. Now, when we come into the main function, we have int a max n comma I, where we know over here int a max. Now you can see over here, using that macro, we have declared the maximum allowed size of an array. This is very important because C programming doesn't allow you generally to declare an empty array. Now, through the program, next is the printf statement and the scanf statement. Printf asks one to enter the size of the array. Now, mind you, this size is different from the max that we have declared over here, because this size of the array is going to keep a record of what elements or the number of elements that we are going to be stored into the array, and this is always less than equal to the max. This is very important. Why? Now you can see that is imposed into the next line into the if statement. Through the scanf statement, we are entering the value of n. Then comes the scanf if statement. In this, we are checking that if n is less than equal to max. So then this is the bound checking that I'm talking about, that we have imposed. If this value is less than the maximum allowed size, then we are going to go for the further processing. In case this is not allowed, then we straight away jump to the else statement. It prints array out of bounds and this program exits. Okay, we assume that our n is within this limits. So now comes to the printf statement, enter the values of array elements. For I equals to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. Now you can see the index goes from 0 to n minus 1. At every step, we have got the printf statement asking the user to enter the value of the element, and scanf statement is getting those values entered. So this is how we create an array as well as insert these values. Now mind you, why this is case 1, because you can see inside the for loop, that is inside the statement, if statement, every time the scanf statement is appending the value to the end of the array. So next return to the cases 2 and 3. Now this is case number 2 over here. Now over here in case number 2, we have already assumed that size of n is less than the max. In case you want that to be explicitly ensured by the programmer, then we have to write again the previous code from the previous slide about the bound checking. Now, as I had promised in my initial videos, over here, I'll be dealing about the algorithm as well as showing its almost one-on-one conversion to the programming language, that is C. Now onto the right hand side, we have an insert a and an item. So insert is the first statement where there is a call for the insert function. Onto the left hand side, I have included whole of my code inside the main statement. I can also make another function in the insert name. That is perfectly allowed. Now why I have shown a similarity between the printf statement onto the left hand side and to the insert. So over here, I am declaring the size of the n. That is the number of elements that is going to be stored into the array. Above statements we have already discussed in the previous slide. That is hash include stdio.h, hash define max, void main, and int a max, and so on. Now, since this is case 2 means that our array is already in sorted order. So we will always be interested in maintaining the sorted order of the array. So therefore, we have to identify the position at which a particular item is going to be inserted. So onto the right hand side of the algorithm, you can see item is that particular value that needs to be inserted into that array. Very important point over here, we have not specified the position at which this item will be inserted. Why? Because that position needs to be found out using the program. Okay. So in parallel, onto the program side, we have the printf statement asking one to enter the array size. We have got that enter from the scanf statement. Now we are asking the user to enter the value of the item that needs to be inserted, and that is inserted using the scanf statement. Now, coming to the algorithm onto the right hand side, steps number 1 to 7, they are the main steps. We initially set the counter in the first statement, I has to be 0. Now we repeat. Repeat means that we have to find out that particular location where this item needs to be inserted. So since we are going on comparison, is starting from the first index, and we keep on comparing with the array values till the time we find the first element which is greater than or equal to the item that we want to insert. Because at that moment, we want the loop to exit. So therefore, we keep on repeating, and behind that till the time we find all the values of the array are less than the item that we want to insert. So we are incrementing the counter. Whenever that test fails, so our loop is going to exit onto the second statement. What happens after that? You can see now statements 1 and 2 are a direct conversion to the C programming onto the left hand side, where we have set I equals to 0, and while item is greater than equal to A of I, then inside the loop we are going for I plus plus. Okay, coming to the algorithm on the right hand side, statement number 3. Now that sets the position as I value, because I is going to be the value of the counter wherein the particular test fails, and we have successfully identified the location where the new item needs to be inserted. Now, once we have identified the position, now our another task is the current values in the array should not get lost. And whatever the values inside the array are the particular location, starting from position and all the values above, they need to be shifted one values ahead. So we said starting from the last index of the array, we said I equals to n minus 1. Now till the time I is greater than the position where the element needs to be inserted, greater than equal to, what we are doing is set a of I plus 1 equals to a of I. That means we are transferring the value at the ith index of the array to one index ahead, and then we are decrementing the counter. Then till the time we are at a location greater than equal to position, we are performing these equations. So all the values inside the array are going to be pushed in. So when the loop exits, we come to the statement number 6. We reach the position number I, and we are inserting the item successfully at the position indicated by the position. Now statement number 7 is very important. Why we have set n equals to n plus 1? Because our array size is increased now. Now returning to the program onto the left hand side, you can see we have inserted position at I, and for I equals to n minus 1, I greater than equal to position I minus minus, and it is a direct conversion. You can see it is very easy to see. So this is how we are inserting a value at a location that is identified by a program, and the array is in sorted order. Now returning to case number 3, which is even a specialized case in which we are specifying a particular position that the element needs to be inserted as well as the element that needs to be inserted. This is even simpler case. Why? Because you don't need to search for that particular position by all possible compatibles. I guess you have got the idea. So let us see the program and the algorithm also. Now over here also, you can see onto the right hand side, we have again assume that array size n is greater than less than the max value. Now you can see it is a direct conversion wherein the algorithm is slightly changed, where program we are specifying the array name, the size, position. Now we have to specify at which position the element needs to be inserted, and the item or the element that needs to be inserted. Now statement number 1, we have set I equals to n minus 1. Why? Because now we don't need to search for that particular position where the item needs to be inserted. We are directly going to start from the highest index and keep on repeating. Now you can see statement number 2, till the time when I value is greater than equal to position, what do? We keep on transferring the values of the array at the ith index to the I plus 1th index, and we keep on decrementing I. So when the loop exits, when I value becomes equals to the position. So we successfully insert the element I term at the position A of position, and set the value of n equals to n plus 1 in exit. Returning to the program onto the left hand side, we have already seen hash include stdio.h, hash define max 10, void main, int a max, n, I, item, and pos. Now first of all, we are again trying to get the array size input by the user, and definitely n has to be less than max. So over here, bounds checking can also be implemented. I have not shown that in this program because that has already been covered in the previous program. So now over here we have printf, enter the value of item to insert, enter the position at which the insertion has to take place. Now we have position equals to position minus 1. Why? Because again over here in the C programming, index goes from 0 to n minus 1. Now again you can see the conversion is straightforward. We start from for I equals to n minus 1, I greater than equal to position I minus minus. We are transferring the value of the array at the ith index to the I plus 1th index. So as soon as the loop exits, when I becomes equal to position, then at a of position we are inserting the item. We increment the size of the array by 1. Why again? Because we have inserted one more value. So thank you all of you for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more and more goodies coming in. Thank you.